Hello everyone and welcome to the virtual cleanroom tutorial. So the virtual cleanroom is going to be an added component this semester to your Ivy Lab experience, and it will be a really good resource for you guys to practice being in a clean room while in the comforts of your own home. So we will be utilizing the virtual cleanroom a lot this semester. And so what I'd like to do today is just to go over one product with you guys. So today what we're going to do is, I know we have the tutorial, the practice, and test tabs, but what we'll do is a practice run first. So this is the entrance of our virtual clean room. And in order to gain access into the garbing room, you're going to click on the top right. We're going to walk into the garbing room. Now, before we are able to make the products, we're going to have to garb up virtually. Now, I want to make a note here that the program that we're using has a little bit of a different procedure in order of garbing, in the order of garbing, than what we'll be doing in lab. And we'll be sure to differentiate those with you guys whenever you come into the lab. However, for the purposes of only the virtual lab, I will show you what the order is in order to gain access into the clean room. So the first thing that you need to do is to remove the jewelry and or cosmetics. And in order to make sure that we're doing this right, all you need to do is left click on your mouse over the selected item. So for example, the first thing, I'm just gonna click remove jewelry. Now, for this program, it's gonna ask us to first don the shoe covers while stepping over the line of demarcation. After that, we're going to don our head cover and then our face mask. And then we're going to wash hands and forearms with soap and warm water for 30 seconds. After that, we're going to don our non-shedding lab gown, followed by our alcohol-based antiseptic hand cleansing. Oh no, I forgot about dry hands with lint-free cloth. How am I going to get back? Unfortunately, with this, you can't insert a list in the middle of this. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to restart, and we're going to have to start all over again. Now, in the beginning, this may seem like a pain. However, because a really good way of learning is repetition, it is really good to kind of start over and do it until you get it right. Now, so again, let's start again. We'll do remove jewelry and or cosmetics. And then we will don shoe covers while stepping over the line of demarcation. And then we will don our head cover. And then we will don our face mask. And notice every time that you reset it, it also shuffles. So don't worry about kind of muscle memory for these items to be in the same places. They do move around. So after donning our face mask, we're going to wash our hands and forearms with soap and water for 30 seconds. And we're going to click dry hands with lint-free cloth, which is exactly what I forgot to do. And then we're going to don our non-shedding lab gown. And then we're going to have our alcohol-based antiseptic hand cleansing. And then we're going to don our sterile gloves. Notice that we do have a few items remaining, and these items will be used depending on which room you go into. So we'll have a clean room and a chemo room. I'm gonna go ahead and hit clean room check. And now I have the green light and I can now enter the clean room. So we're gonna hit continue. And then we're gonna go ahead and go into the clean room. So now that we're in the clean room, we're gonna wanna pick which product or order that we're working with. So we're gonna go to select order. And today's example, we're going to be working with adenosine. So in order to find adenosine from our order, we're gonna hit adult. And notice we have a lot of different products. I do highly recommend you guys to kind of practice through a lot of these products on your own time, in addition to the ones that we will assign to you. Let's see here. We're going to go to adenosine, and it is asking us to make 60 milliliters in a 30 milliliter syringe. So here, the first thing, we can go ahead and click view labeling, and it's going to give us the package insert. So this is really good for us to kind of look at any other dosing, any issues, to get more of a clinical idea of when we would potentially be using adenosine. So the first thing now, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to adult medications. Go ahead and click that. And we're going to click adenosine, the product. Now, before we do that, let's go ahead and hit info. So this particular vial, the concentration is 60 milligrams for 20 milliliters, or 3 milligrams per milliliter. This is going to be really important in order for us to convert our 60 milligrams into milliliters so that we can go ahead and draw up this product later. So let's go ahead and take a vial of adenosine. And what I would recommend starting off is just to kind of do some mental math. So in this case, if we need 60 milligrams and we have a 3 milligram per milliliter vial of adenosine, we'll need a total of 20 milliliters to make a 60 milligram product. So keep that in mind because it's going to be a determinant of which syringes we're going to use in a second. So let me go ahead and click leave. It's giving us a notification that we have adenosine now in our hands. And now let's see here, since we're making this in a syringe, we're not going to need a diluent because a diluent is usually used for, oops, sorry, I don't mean to make y'all dizzy while y'all are watching this, but a diluent will be typically used for our reconstituted solutions, so like our antibiotics. We don't really need IV supplies because we're not making an IV bag. Usually the order itself will tell you whether or not we're going to use an IV bag. So it might say 100 milliliters of a D5W bag, but in this case, we just need in a 30 milliliter syringe. So let's go ahead and click syringe supplies. And it's just going to give us a few things that we may need. So we'll need a syringe cap for our final product. We're going to need a capped needle in order for us to withdraw some fluid. And lastly, we're going to need a 30 milliliter syringe. Now you may be asking earlier, since we calculated that a 60 milligram order of adenosine is 20 milliliters, why aren't we using a 20 milliliter syringe? Well, for one, looking at our order, we're going to be using a 30 milliliter syringe, so it's kind of in the order itself. But just to kind of think through, we don't want to use a 20 milliliter syringe for 20 milliliters just because we don't want to make it to the maximum of the syringe. So we want to make sure we use the next size, especially if it's at the max volume of the previous syringe. So here we have in our hands adenosine 20 milliliters, or 3 milligrams per milliliter, syringe cap, a cap needle, and 30 milliliter syringe. So I think we are good to go to make our product. So let's go ahead and leave this, hit continue. Okay, so now we can either make this in our primary engineering control, our horizontal hood, or our vertical hood. So let's go ahead and make this into our horizontal laminar flow hood. Going to have our guy have his seat there. Okay, so now just to kind of orient you, we have the HEPA filter in the back, and the red line that you see in front of you indicates our 6-inch rule. So we don't want to put anything forward. And the good thing about this program is it really won't let you put anything forward anyways. But we also want to make sure we don't put anything too far back. So what I like to do is I just kind of like to put it somewhere near the front. So there's our adenosine. There is our syringe cap. There is our needle and our syringe. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to uncap our drug. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click adenosine. We're going to remove the lid. Notice that once the lid is removed, the top changes color from blue to white. The next thing we want to do is we want to swab this vial. So we're going to hit alcohol swab. So now our adenosine vial is good to go. Next, we're going to get our 30 milliliter syringe. Going to go ahead and grab that. We're also going to grab our caps needle and we're going to attach it. The next step, we are going to detach, oops, my bad, 1 second. We're going to attach this and we're going to uncap. I'm going to go ahead and set that down. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click our adenosine vial again and we're going to puncture it. Now, another difference that we're going to have here is it's going to ask us to invert our vial. And sometimes you may not invert it when you are working in the in-person portion of the lab. But for the purposes of the virtual clean room, we're going to go ahead and invert it. Now let's remember our math real quick. So earlier our vial said 3 milligrams per milliliter. We need 60 milligrams total. So essentially what we're doing is 60 divided by 3. So that's going to give us 20 milliliters of our adenosine. So that's exactly how much we're going to draw. So I'm going to go ahead and put in our number and draw. Next, what it's going to ask me to do is we're going to hold and drag until we get to 20. So we're right there. And this program does give us about a 3% margin of error. So you don't have to get it precisely at 20, but it's good to be as close as possible. We're going to go ahead and hit submit. And we are going to go ahead and invert back and remove our syringe. So now we are done with the adenosine. And what we need to do is we need to cap on our syringe. And then what we're going to do is we're going to detach the needle and put our syringe cover. Okay, now the next step is we're going to have to dispose of our sharps, which we're going to try doing. So first off, I'm going to put my syringe here and I'm going to go ahead and dispose of my sharps. So now we are left with our adenosine and our syringe. Now our product is complete and we can go ahead and leave the workstation. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Now we're not completely done yet. So we're going to have to give our product through and so we're going to hit pass through. And this is kind of our final step. So once the order goes through, it's done. So for this, we're going to go ahead and hit continue. And it's just going to give us a little bit of feedback on how we did. So here we had the correct syringe of adenosine, the correct concentration, and we used a cover for our syringe. So we did a really good job with this product. I'm going to go ahead and exit to menu. And this is going to lead us back to our main page. You can go ahead and practice as many times as you want. And if you go into test, which is when we have products that are assigned to you, I will warn you right now that when you click test, the product that you are making will be timed. And also any mistakes that you make, either from garbing or putting anything into the flow hood, it will not notify you of any errors. So be careful when you go into tests. So I highly recommend you guys, number one, doing the tutorial and then practicing as many times as you need to in order to feel comfortable before you kind of test yourself on these things. All right, so that is our very simple tutorial on Virtual Cleanroom. I hope that you enjoy using this program and let us know if you'll have any questions or concerns using our Virtual Cleanroom. All right, thank you guys.